the reality is that I can make time. I can find budget. I can learn if it's a priority for me, if it's something that I really care about doing.